Okay, let's unpack this. You know how fast the world of marketing is changing? Automation, well, it's been a total game changer for years, hasn't it?
Absolutely. Huge.
But it feels like now it's not just about speeding things up anymore. It's fundamentally shifting what's possible. We're moving way beyond those simple, rule-based tasks.
That's right. And the engine driving this huge evolution, it's artificial intelligence, AI. It's taking marketing automation platforms and giving them something totally new.
Like what exactly?
Well, the ability to learn, to predict, and crucially, to adapt on the fly.
Ah, okay. So it's not just doing what you told it to do anymore. It's figuring out what it should be doing next.
Precisely. It's becoming proactive.
Got it. So our mission for this deep dive then is to really dig into that central role AI is playing. We're focusing on what smart, forward-thinking marketing teams really need to understand and maybe expect in this space going forward.
And we've pulled our insights together from a pretty comprehensive source, a blog post that really walks through the whole journey. The evolution from basic automation, the benefits, the risks of AI, and then looking ahead at the trends.
Right. And our goal here is to pull out the essential stuff from this source, cut through some of the noise, maybe the complexity, and just make this world of AI and marketing automation clear and accessible for you, highlighting what's truly important. So let's dive in.
Okay, so let's start with that fundamental shift you mentioned. Traditional marketing automation is great, we know that, but it's mostly rule-based.
Yeah, the if this, then that setup.
Exactly. You set up triggers, you set up actions. If a user clicks this link, then send that email. It's predictable, which is good, but it's also pretty rigid.
Like setting up a complex line of dominoes, maybe. Once you push the first one, the path is totally fixed.
That's a great analogy. What AI brings to the table is adaptability, prediction, and really important contextual awareness. It doesn't just follow that preset path. It analyzes the whole environment and can actually adjust the path as it goes.
Okay, so instead of just if X, then Y, AI can look at, I don't know, tons of data points and predict the likelihood of X even happening, or maybe figure out that action Z would be better than Y for this specific person right now?
Exactly. It's learning from every single interaction. It's personalizing content based on real-time behavior, what someone's doing now, and it's constantly tweaking campaigns to try and get better results without needing someone to manually adjust the dials every single hour.
That continuous optimization piece sounds key.
It is. And this adaptability, it shows up in very practical ways in the tools we use today. The source we looked at highlights several key AI-driven features you might already see or should probably be looking for.
Okay, like what?
Well, predictive lead scoring, for instance.
Right, so that's not just adding points if someone downloads an ebook or something simple.
No. AI looks at much deeper patterns across huge data sets to predict how likely a lead is to actually convert. It gives you a much more nuanced picture of potential value.
More intelligent prioritization, basically.
Yes. Then there's dynamic content generation. This is where the message or the image you see on a website or maybe in an email can literally change based on what the AI knows or predicts about you in that exact moment.
Wow, okay, real-time tailoring.
And send time optimization.
Huh.
Sounds simple, maybe, but figuring out the absolute best time of day or week to send an email for every single person on your list, that's actually a huge optimization problem that AI is really well suited to tackle.
I can see that. What else?
Also really critical are things like churn prediction and life cycle modeling. AI can analyze customer behavior patterns to spot warning signs that someone might be about to leave before they actually do.
Giving you a chance to step in.
Exactly. Gives you a window to intervene. And smart routing, making sure leads or, say, support questions get to the right person or the right team based on a much more sophisticated AI analysis of the context, not just keywords.
Okay, so you can see how these aren't just like small improvements. They feel like fundamentally new capabilities.
Yeah, it really are.
So what's the payoff then for teams that start really leveraging this AI stuff? The source points to some pretty big strategic benefits, I assume.
Oh, definitely. The big one seems to be achieving truly personalized experiences, but doing it at massive scale.
Which has always been the dream, right? But personalization is hard, trying to manage segmenting and tailoring content for, I don't know, hundreds of thousands or millions of people manually, or even with complex rule sets.
Yeah.
It's incredibly difficult, sometimes just impossible.
Exactly. AI handles that complexity. It also moves you beyond just relying on gut feelings or, intuition. AI gives you data-driven predictions and insights. That leads to genuinely smarter decision-making about where to put your effort, who exactly to target, and what message is most likely to resonate.
And based on the source, that translates directly into actual results, right? Like improved lead quality because you're focusing on the truly promising prospects. And ultimately, better conversion rates.
Yes, those are the key outcomes mentioned.
Mm,
Plus, that continuous optimization we talked about. That's a massive shift from the old way of doing things like set it and forget it,
yeah.
or maybe only making adjustments after you look at the weekly or monthly reports.
Right. The system itself is potentially improving campaign performance all the time, behind the scenes.
Constantly learning, constantly adjusting.
Okay, so it sounds incredibly powerful, but it's not magic, is it? What are the potential downsides, the risks that teams need to be really, really aware of?
Absolutely not magic. And the source is very clear that it's not all smooth sailing. The first and maybe the most fundamental challenge is often summed up with that old phrase, garbage in, garbage out.
Okay, and why is that particularly true for AI? I mean, bad data is always bad, right?
Yeah.
But why is it such a critical problem when AI gets involved?
Well, it's because AI models learn directly from the data you feed them. If your data is inconsistent, if it's incomplete, if it has hidden biases, or it's just plain wrong, the AI will learn those flaws. It internalizes them.
Hmm.
So it's predictions, it's personalizations, it's optimization decisions. They'll all be built on that shaky, flawed foundation.
Hmm.
The AI doesn't inherently know what good data is. It just processes whatever you give it. So the quality of the data going in directly, fundamentally, determines the quality of the insights and actions coming out.
That makes total sense. If you train it on bad examples, you're going to get bad results. What else should we be watching out for?
There's a definite risk of over-automation killing the human touch. Efficiency is obviously key, but relying too much on automation can sometimes lead to these really impersonal interactions that just alienate customers. You've got to find the right balance.
Yeah, you wouldn't want, say, a complex, high-value B2B sale being handled entirely by a chatbot, right?
Exactly. That human element is still crucial. Compliance and privacy concerns are also huge, especially with all the evolving regulations around data, use GDPR, CCPA, things like that. You absolutely have to ensure your AI is handling personal data responsibly and legally.
Non-negotiable.
And finally, there's the black box algorithms issue.
Right. That's where it's hard to understand why the AI made a specific decision, why it recommended X or predicted Y. Why is that a problem for a marketer?
Well, it can be a challenge for trust and also for troubleshooting. If a campaign suddenly performs unexpectedly, maybe tanks, or you get a really weird prediction, it can be difficult to diagnose why the AI did what it did.
You can't easily look under the hood.
Exactly. And understanding that decision-making process is important not just for, tweaking and optimizing the AI itself, but also potentially for regulatory compliance and frankly just for building confidence in the system within your team.
Those are definitely important considerations, not just technical hurdles. Okay, shifting gears a bit. What does the source say about where all this is heading? What are the big trends shaping the future of AI in marketing automation?
The source points to 5 key trends to watch. First, AI-powered journey orchestration is going to become even more sophisticated.
So what does that mean practically?
Think of AI not just optimizing, say, a single email send, but dynamically managing a customer's entire path across all your channels: email, social, web, ads, deciding the very next best action at every single step of their journey.
Wow, okay. That sounds like it's almost automating the strategy itself to some degree.
In terms of the execution and that moment-to-moment optimization, yes, absolutely. Second, conversational AI will dominate. Chatbots and virtual assistants are going to become far more common and much more capable in marketing interactions.
Handling more complex stuff.
Yeah, handling more complex queries, providing genuinely personalized support or recommendations, much more human-like.
So the first point of contact might often be an AI that can actually understand context and guide you effectively.
Precisely. Third trend, expect auto-generated campaigns.
Whoa, what does that entail?
AI won't just be suggesting email subject lines. It could potentially draft entire campaign sequences, suggest different creative variations, maybe even build landing pages based on the goals you define and the audience data it has.
So automating parts of the creation process, not just the delivery.
Exactly. Fourth, AI-augmented A/B testing will evolve significantly. Instead of you manually setting up maybe 2 variations, A and B, AI will be able to run complex multivariate tests constantly.
Testing lots of things at once.
Yes, finding the optimal combination of elements, headline, image, call to action, button color, you name it, far faster and more effectively than humans typically can. And finally, the fifth trend the source really stresses is that ethical and responsible AI will become table stakes.
Meaning it's not just a nice to have anymore.
Right. Companies will absolutely have to prioritize fairness, transparency as much as possible, given the black box issue, and accountability in how they develop and deploy AI. Not just for legal reasons, but really as a standard business practice, something customers and regulators expect.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, while we're talking about all these powerful tools and future trends, the source makes a really crucial point that I think is easy to overlook,
Which is,
that the tools alone are not enough.
right, just having AI capabilities in your platform doesn't automatically guarantee success.
Absolutely critical point. You can't just flip an AI switch and expect it to magically fix all your marketing problems.
So what does guarantee success then? Or at least improve the odds?
Success with AI in marketing automation relies really heavily on the strategy behind the tools, having robust data governance processes, and always maintaining that essential human oversight.
Okay, so it's about more than just buying the latest, shiniest software. It's about things like really auditing your current tech stack to understand what AI you might already have access to. Yes, and properly integrating these AI tools so they can actually talk to your CRM, your sales platforms, all your other systems. That's key.
And building those critical guardrails we touched on earlier, making sure you're compliant, protecting things like your brand tone and voice in automated communications.
Definitely. It's also about consciously designing your whole approach to balance the incredible efficiency you get from automation with the, frankly, irreplaceable value of human creativity, empathy, and judgment.
And training. You mentioned training your team.
Hugely important. Your marketers need to understand how to work with the AI, how to interpret its outputs, when to trust it, and crucially, when to step in with their own judgment.
That training piece feels really central. This brings us nicely to some common questions the source tackles, ones that you listening might be asking yourselves right now. First big one, can AI replace human marketers?
The source's answer on this is a pretty firm no. AI is incredibly powerful for data analysis, prediction, scaling repetitive tasks. But human creativity, strategic thinking, that nuanced contextual understanding, judgment, especially in complex relationship-driven marketing, those things are simply irreplaceable by current or, frankly, foreseeable AI.
Okay, good news for all the marketers listening. Next common question. Do you need to completely switch platforms to start using AI in your automation?
Not necessarily, no. Many of the major marketing automation platforms already have AI features embedded, sometimes quite deeply. It's really worth looking into your current platform's capabilities first before you just assume you need a full migration. You might just need to activate or configure features that are already there.
Do your homework first.
Absolutely. And probably the most practical question, tying right back to that garbage in, garbage out issue we discussed. How do you know if your data is actually ready for AI?
$1 million question.
It really is the foundation. The source emphasizes again and again that AI thrives on clean, centralized, and normalized data. If your customer data is fragmented across 10 different systems, if it's inconsistent in format, full of errors or duplicates, the AI just won't perform effectively. It can't.
So what's the first step?
Starting with a thorough data audit to really understand the current state of your data, and then prioritizing the cleanup and integration effort that's often the essential first step before you can truly leverage AI.
You have to build on a solid base.
Yeah.
Okay, so wrapping this deep dive up, the core message seems pretty clear. AI is fundamentally changing marketing automation. It's making it vastly more predictive, more personal, and just more powerful than ever before.
Definitely. But while the capabilities of the tools themselves are advancing incredibly quickly, the real competitive advantage for marketing teams lies not just in adopting AI, but in how strategically they implement it. It's about the quality of the data they feed it, and about maintaining that crucial human oversight, creativity, and judgment to guide the whole process.
Couldn't agree more. And given that clean, centralized, normalized data is highlighted as that absolute non-negotiable foundation for successful AI and marketing automation, maybe the final thought for you to consider is, what specific steps might you need to take, perhaps starting tomorrow, to ensure your data is truly AI ready? Something significant to think about as you navigate this rapidly evolving landscape.